Good day. This is Kekezo once again. I am your crypto educator. I want us to continue learning about Bitcoin, understanding Bitcoin. So this is going to be part 3 of that lesson. Okay, so before we start, I would like you to remember that if you have watched the first and the second, how do we even get to this website here? All right, if it's your first time, you'll come to this website that's called www.coingecko.com. So once you are here, then you are going to get a list of these cryptos according to their market cap in terms of how much money has been put in that particular coin. So I'm looking at Bitcoin, so that's why I click over here, and then there's a lot of information, but because I want to go to their website, then I look for information about the token. That's why I find a website and bitcoin.org. So when I click over here, then it takes me to this page, which is Bitcoin website. All right, so this is part 3 of the lesson. I want us to start now talking about the things you need to know before you get involved in cryptocurrencies or in Bitcoin. We looked at securing your wallet. We've looked at different types of wallets. Now I want us to look at Bitcoin price. Let's look at Bitcoin price. Let's talk about Bitcoin price. Okay, before I do that, remember to like my videos, also to subscribe to my channel if you feel like you want to learn with me. All right, the Bitcoin price is volatile. It means that it is fluctuating. So the price of a Bitcoin is unpredictable, right? Because it increases and decreases over a short period of time due to its young economy, novel nature, and sometimes illiquid markets. Consequently, keeping your savings with Bitcoin is not recommended at this point. Bitcoin should be seen like a high-risk asset, and you should never store money that you cannot afford to lose with Bitcoin. If you receive payments with Bitcoin, many service providers can convert them to your local currency. All right, so it's important for you to understand that it depends, again, on where you are at. There are people that wants to save long term, so the fluctuation is not that much of a problem. But if you are the person that is saving for short term, the day you want your money, and especially if you have saved your money in Bitcoin, which is a fluctuating asset, then you'll find that the prices are down, and you'll feel like you have lost your money, and you'll have to wait for the price to go up. As to wait for how long, nobody knows, because the prices are unpredictable. Right, then let's look at Bitcoin payments are irreversible. It's important for you to know that where immediately you say submit, or if you pay someone, you say pay, a Bitcoin transaction cannot be reversed. It can only be refunded by the person receiving the funds the other side. So this means you should take care to do business with people and organization you know and trust, or who have an established reputation, people that can bring your money back, right? For their part, businesses need to keep track of the payment requests they're displaying to their customers. Bitcoin can detect typos and usually won't let you send money to an invalid address by mistake. But it's best to have controls in place for additional safety and redundancy. Okay? So additional services might exist in the future to provide more choice and protection for both businesses and consumers. But at the moment, when we talk about Bitcoin, it is irreversible. Yes, there are other crypto tokens that you can send your cryptos, but you have 24 to 48 hours to reverse that transactions. But it's not yet happening. It's not happening with Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin is not anonymous. Some effort is required to protect your privacy with Bitcoin. All Bitcoin transactions are stored publicly and permanently on the network, which means anyone can see the balance and transactions of any Bitcoin address. However, the identity of the user behind an address remains unknown until information is revealed during a purchase or in other circumstances. This is one reason why Bitcoin addresses should only be used once. Always remember that it is your responsibility to adopt good practice in order to protect your privacy. So that is very important to note and very great to understand that you may send Bitcoin or may receive Bitcoin and nobody will know who actually sent this, not unless the person behind the address can be revealed. All right, and then unconfirmed transactions are not secure, right? Transactions don't start out as irreversible. You can send them, but here's the thing. Instead, they get a confirmation score that indicates how hard it is to reverse them, right? We're gonna look at the table right now. Each confirmation takes between a few seconds and 90 minutes, within 10 minutes being the average. If the transaction pays too low a fee or it's otherwise atypical, getting the first confirmation can take much longer. We are always been given the opportunity to say, do you want to send it fast track or normal, right? Or standard. Then when you say fast track, then you will pay a little bit more so that your transaction can be moved to the front so that the miners, these nodes that are verifying transaction can then start with yours. But if you are not in a hurry, you can just let it go to take its own time. Then it will be verified and it will go to where it has to go. Now, once you have clicked submit or pay, those confirmations, you've got to understand you have just put Bitcoin within the blockchain. You have just sent it into the into nodes. So computers don't know how to reverse it. So it's gone, it's gone. That's why it's gone. So it's important for us to always be careful. So let's look on the left here, this table, we have confirmation 0. Okay, this means that where there is a 0 confirmation, where your payment or your movement of money does not need a confirmation, you do that only, or it is only safe if you trust the person paying you, right? One confirmation, somewhat reliable. With Bitcoin Core, it's mostly reliable. 3 confirmations, mostly reliable. Bitcoin Core, highly reliable. 6 confirmations with lightweight wallets, minimum recommendation for high-value Bitcoin transfers. And 30 confirmations, this one is the recommendation during emergencies to allow human intervention when you extend the number of confirmations. Okay, now here's another one. Bitcoin is still experimental. Bitcoin is an experimental new currency that is in active development, right? So there are developers all over the world that are working every day on Bitcoin network. So each improvement makes Bitcoin more appealing, but also reveals new challenges as Bitcoin adoption grows. As more people come now using Bitcoin, you find that most of the time the network becomes slow. And therefore, we're no longer taking that 10 minutes. Now it's 30 minutes. All right. So because why? It's experimental. It gets developed as we go. During these growing pains, you might encounter increased fees. slower confirmations, or even more severe issues. We don't know. So be prepared for problems and consult a technical expert before making any major investments. But keep in mind that nobody can predict Bitcoin's future. Okay, so no one can predict Bitcoin's future. So this is what developers are saying at the moment. And at this time, when we are looking at this information, this is the time where big businesses, institutions have just jumped into cryptocurrency space, and they have invested already a lot of money. In terms of the future, yes, we still don't know the future, but I think more people are now coming into the space. There is a little bit higher demand that does not come from ordinary people only, but now comes from institutions, you know, and that probably we can say that it minimizes the uncertainty around the future of Bitcoin. Now, let's look at government taxes and regulations. Bitcoin is not an official currency, right? Especially in most of the countries. We have very few countries that have legalized Bitcoin. So that said, most jurisdictions still require you to pay income, sales, payroll, and capital gains taxes on anything that has value, including Bitcoin. So it is your responsibility to ensure that you adhere to tax and other legal or regulatory mandates issued by your government or local municipalities. So it's important for us to understand that because it has value, therefore, you'll find that governments, sometimes they call it a capital gain. They see it as a capital good. And then sometimes it's they see it as a financial product. Others are seeing it as what commodity. You know, that confusion, they don't know where to classify it. But as us as users, it's money. We are exchanging value among ourselves. We buy with it, we pay with it. So, and again, we know that it has store value, it's a medium of exchange, it's durable, you know, and it keeps its worth, it keeps its value. That's what money is supposed to be doing, to keep its value. And that is why money is actually a human right, because if people can keep their money that has a store of value in them, then that kind of money will be able to enable quite a number of people, or the citizens of the world or citizens of particular countries, to really be able to sustain themselves. Unlike today, when the value of money keeps going down, keeps dying, and now it's no longer a human right, or it's a human right that needs to be challenged, so that people should not be losing money. They should not be losing their rights when it comes to money, but they should actually get the money that can grow in value. Wow, thank you so much for this time once again. Let us meet again, the next video, which will be part 3. So before you go, remember to like my video, remember to subscribe to my channel if you like the content. So let's meet again as we continue talking, highlighting things that are important for us to know about Bitcoin.